lights on. They'll go out very, very shortly. We're racing here in Kota. Great start from pole position by the home hero, Cam Beaubier. It's the dream start. Surely he'll get the whole shot up the hill into the first corner. Here comes Vietti though with a late dive bomb. Vietti's got the inside line. Canet also coming through, nearly contact with him and Beaubier. It's getting really scrappy further down the field. Vietti in prime position though, and when we've seen him in this position previously in 2022, he's a formidable force. He powers down the 1200 metre back straight for the very first time. Vietti already half a second clear of Canet.
What a first lap for Pedro Acosta. He's just behind Cameron Beaubier, the Moto2 world champion, already up in 5th place. You can see him shaping to have a look. Just behind him, Jake Dixon also on the move. He's just gone past.
There's a crash. There's one of the that's Sam Lowe's,
I think,
it's
as well.
Sam Lowe's. Wow, we've got carnage further down the field. Sam Lowe's was definitely involved.
Aldeguer's
involved. His nightmare run continues. That's going to be back-to-back DNS for Paul Fermin Aldeguer. Tony Arbolino down the back straight in the braking zone for turn 12, ahead of all the chaos, and carnage got Canet for second place. Now then, who was caught up in that melee? Aldeguer clearly. Sam Lowe's was involved on the second of the Alpha BDS Racing team, Khaled Chadsis. Arbolino's teammate at the moment looking good in second. Canet launches a raid up the inside of Arbolino into that tight uphill first corner. He's got the job done. Canet then back into second place. Vietti's advantage over the line was 0.6 of a second. Beaubier, having made the dream start from pole, got pushed back down to 4th place. He's not been able to find or recover any places so far.
It's really split the field with that incident in the middle of the pack. You can see some of the riders. That's Zonta van den Goorberg, who's up on his feet. They look like two separate incidents, didn't they? It looked like Van den Goorberg was one of the riders, perhaps further back, who came in alongside it and joined that incident. Here's Sam Lowe's, who's looking to get back on his bike, but of course he's lost the best part of a lap. We'll get a replay of it now. Look like two separate incidents here.
Yeah, now then, who's that? Well, Somkiat Chantra has just come from miles back.
And then Aldeguer gets into the back of, it looks like Van den Goorberg as well. Of course, Rodrigo involved in there as well. Chantra definitely making contact with someone further back.
Yeah, Chantra there with nowhere to go. Sam Lowe's knew nothing about that, nothing he could do about it either. Chantra clatters into the back of Sam Lowe's. Down he goes, and then there's mayhem behind him as well. Sam Lowe's there turning back. He knew, or he probably saw maybe a blink of an eye, that it was Chantra that clattered into him. Well, that's costly for Somkiat Chantra and Sam Lowe's in the championship as there's a raid here. Beaubier on the inside of Arbolino into turn 12. He's done a fantastic job there to pull that one down the brakes. Brilliant by Beaubier. Vietti and Canet potentially putting a lot more points on the board here today as Canet closes right up on the rear tyre of Celestino Vietti in this snaking first sector, and he's got that move done, beautifully done by Canet. Vietti tries to fight back up through turn number 9. Awesome stuff there, spectacular stuff between the top two men in the Moto2 World Championship this year. Arbolino once again has got back through on Beaubier for third.
That move started 3 or 4 corners further back. Vietti got ever so slightly wide going through those S-bends at the start of the lap, and it of course puts him off his rhythm, and Canet was able to just line him up to make the move. It's important now to see whether Vietti can go with Canet. Canet's looked out for pace right throughout this weekend. All he's been missing is a grid position. He got it this weekend. Can he now pull away at the front?
Is that Pedro Acosta?
Yeah.
It's Pedro Acosta in the first sector. He's now sprinting to try and find that Red Bull KTM machine, just as we were talking about Pedro Acosta having his best race so far in Moto2. Now, this is a frequent sight, unfortunately. I think he's had at least 2 crashes in every Grand Prix so far this year, Pedro Acosta. Unfortunately, the latest one is put him down and out of this Circuit of the Americas battle when he was fighting for the podium. Here he goes then. Oh, into turn 3. That's fast. And his bike's going to come right back across the circuit. Oh, that's scary stuff. Scary stuff on the inside curve there as he's trying to get into podium contention. We'll look back here at Ayagura. There he goes over the curve, and this is super scary. His bike and rider comes flying back across the circuit. You could hear how much Agura had to shut off there in that first sector. That's going to have cost him and Beaubier time.
Oh, it's Vietti down.
Oh, Vietti's gone down. Can you believe it? The World Championship leader has thrown away potentially at least 20 points. Turn 6 then for the Mooney VR46 rider. The first big mistake we've seen on a Sunday from Vietti. What a gift for Canet. Now, if Canet can win this Grand Prix, he will assume the lead in the World Championship.
What a weekend it's been for Celestino Vietti then. Here we can see him in the background. Front end goes. He tried to save it, but no doing for Celestino Vietti. As you say, the World Championship lead could well be slipping through his fingers.
Oh, they can't believe it. Head in hands for Luca Barrivio and Pablo Nieto, management at Mooney VR46. They cannot believe it. It's the first mistake we've seen already here in Kota. It's a battle of survival, isn't it? We've lost Vietti, Acosta, Corsi, Rodrigo, Lowe's, Chantra and Aldeguer and Zonda van der Goorberg in that early skirmish. It really is a race of attrition here in Kota. What this means then now is Aaron Canet's got a comfortable advantage of 1.4 seconds back to Tony Arbolino. Arbolino now on course for his first Moto2 podium.
2:09.4 last time round for Canet, half a second quicker than anyone else out on circuit.
Yeah, Vietti's not looked the invincible force of the first three Grand Prix here this weekend. It all started to go wrong in FP2 on Friday when he crashed at turn 5. That dumped him into Q1. Came out of Q1 yesterday, but then a crash at turn 6 is going to cost Vietti dearly. He was on course for a minimum 20 points, but is that the moment then that Celestino Vietti surrenders the early lead in this Moto2 World Championship? Aaron Canet's gone down. Can you believe it? So we've lost Celestino Vietti out of second place, and Aaron Canet, just as we said he was getting his head down, he was 1.7 seconds clear of Tony Arbolino. So our top two men, in fact our top three men in the Moto2 World Championship coming into this Kota Grand Prix have now crashed out. Canet was going to take over the lead in the World Championship. Massive chatter on the front end, huge vibration going through 7. He couldn't save it. Is he going to be able to remount? But Canet, that's a super costly crash for him.
Well, we're on the verge of history here, aren't we, in one way, shape or form. By my reckoning, looking down the order, none of the top 8 in this Grand Prix have ever won a Moto2 race before. Jake Dixon, who at one point looked as if he was on the fringe of the podium, he now sees a potential first Grand Prix victory up the road.
We're only on lap number 12 and he's already nearly 17 seconds further back, so Fernandez not working out for him at all. Now then, what's happened to Jake
gone
Dixon?
Wide. I was just about to say, it looked like he'd been fading a little bit on this last lap. He'd lost an awful lot of time to Tony Arbolino, the lead way over 2 seconds as Agura closed in. Dixon unable to get the bike stopped into turn 11 and now into 3rd position. The good news for Jake Dixon is he's got nearly 8 seconds of empty time up behind him, back to Marcel Schrotter in 4th.
Beaubier starts to reel in Marcel Schrotter down this long back straight, picking up some slipstream here as well as Cam Beaubier. Schrotter stands firm though, although he's getting that Calac chassis loose, snaking around in the braking zone for turn 12. He got in a little bit hot, didn't he? And that means Beaubier, well, he put the pressure on and the pressure worked. Beaubier then up into 4th place. That will be a career best race in the World Championship for the American. Yeah,
just a clean last 4.5 laps now for Cameron Beaubier, and as you say, a career best finish in the Moto2 class would be Beaubier's, and of course he's heading to a circuit next time around in Portimao, but he's got plenty of experience of course, raced there twice last year, and Beaubier went pretty well there too. So every reason to suggest that Beaubier can build on this and put in a similar performance in 2 weeks' time. Just important for him now in these last 4 laps just to bring this Calax home, and 13 valuable World Championship points will be his. As Somkhat Chantra looks on, he's another of those riders who might have been feeling, I could have had a Grand Prix, certainly a top 6 for him given where he started, could well have been his today. That incident down at turn 12 is going to be investigated after the Grand Prix, and you have to imagine that a lot of the eyes will be focused on Somkhat Chantra.
Just 2 corners left for Tony Arbolino and the Elfmark VDS Racing team here at the Circuit of the Americas. Through the final corner, there's a late yellow flag in Sector 4. Tiger Tony triumphs in Texas. Oh, late drama, it was Cam Beaubier on course for 4th place. He goes down on the very last lap. Joy for the Elfmark VDS Racing team. Congratulations to Oyagura. He takes 2nd place and moves into 2nd in the World Championship. Jake Dixon on the podium for the first time in his World Championship career in an excellent 3rd place. Schrotter takes 4th, Navarro 5th, Jeremy Alcover a sensational 6th. Ben Schneider, Joe Roberts will also be inside the top 10, likewise Augusto Fernandez. But late heartache, can you believe it? Contrasting emotions down in the American racing team compared to about 20 hours ago. Beaubier from pole position, a 4th place, a career best Moto2 result within his grasp. He loses the front at turn 16. What a dramatic race we've had here in Moto2 in Kota. But there is your race winner. Congratulations, Tony Arbolino.